about to embark on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, ghostly encounters, lucid dreaming, astral projection, the Mandela effect. This is Out of Body Experience TV with your host, Juan Augusto.
Welcome to Out of Body Experience TV, and I'm your host, Juan Augusto. And welcome back, Big C's 82. It's been a while.
Yeah, what's going on, cuz? Yeah, it has been a while. I got hacked. A couple of my stuff got frozen and paused, but thankfully I had all the backup systems in place to protect myself. But it took some time to get back online. So happy to be here.
So today we're going to be discussing cryptocurrency, and we're going to be talking about UFOs, one of my favorite subjects. And have you seen the video clip that's been going around? This happened last week, I believe, and it's about this pyramid-shaped UFO, or sorry, I'm gonna say UAP, because that's what I think they're calling it now. You know, I think they want to stay away from the term UFO because it's been stigmatized for so long that they're just gonna come out with UAP phenomenon.
Yeah, so I actually saw this on a morning breakfast TV show here in Toronto. Um, what was it, last week or the week before? And I was eating breakfast and I turned my head and I go, hold on a second, did they just say that on national TV at 7 o'clock in the morning? And I paused and I'm listening to this and I'm hearing how it actually got leaked right through someone who knew someone in a newscast or broadcast, and then it got leaked out to the public, right? And I'm looking at this and the area that it was filmed, they weren't denying it. So I'm like, all right, well, there it is. They're not denying it anymore. It's out there, but it was pretty wild.
And here's the thing, I'm so giddy. You know me, like when we were kids, we always used to talk about this. We always used to talk about X-Files and all that jazz. And remember, oh no, UFOs aren't they don't exist. Remember getting ridiculed and being looked at as the nut in the family. It's like, oh no, you're crazy, you're crazy. So think about how my reaction is to, like, as you can see where it says city news, Canadian UFO sightings on the rise. They are not denying it, and the Pentagon's confirmed it. They've confirmed that it's a UAP, UFO, whatever. And I am so stoked. But again, a lot of people still won't believe it until it lands on their freaking front lawn.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, first off, it's something out of this world, right? It's nothing that the majority of the public has actually even seen or witnessed with their own two eyes, right? So you could have disbelievers when it comes to this, but now it's out there, dude. I mean, the news is talking about it, the radio is talking about it. You hit the nail on the head about different agencies in the world that are talking about it. Even Forbes magazine online, they're talking about how there was an increase, a spike of alien abduction in 2020, right? It's out there, like Forbes magazine. This is like a reputable magazine that touches on various topics, and they're talking about there's been a spike of last year in UFO abductions. Like, how much more evidence do we need rather than the the high ray beams coming down and taking over like we see on Hollywood, right? It's happening. Let's do it. Let's take it.
It's funny. Like even the Freedom of Information Act touches on this, right? They talked about UFOs, or sorry, the UAPs, and they've been studying this for decades. When they say, oh yeah, they've been looking into this for decades. You know, it's been longer than that. When they say decades, it's like, oh, you think, oh, okay, 1 decade, 2 decades, maybe three. No, it's longer than that. You know what I mean? But why
Mhm.
all of a sudden now? Why now? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, why are they doing it now where you're seeing it like on like you said, Forbes, City TV News, the Toronto Sun, National Post, or sorry, the Washington Post, and New York Post. You're seeing it everywhere, CNN. Why now?
So here's my rational mind thought process behind this. We all know that space exploration is turning a corner from where it was paused in the late 80s and 90s, right after the sad explosions of the space shuttles, and just how NASA and the in that science kind of stopped and paused, right? I think we're turning the corner and we're seeing different um, space launches to the moon, to Mars, and I think from this new steps that we're taking out there in space, they won't find a way to cover it up anymore. It's going to pop up on someone's screen, and we're going to see it. We're coming closer to, really finding out, can we survive on Mars and different planets? And I think it's already there. And I think they're leaving these timbits out there to slowly say, you know what, come this fall, this is what's up, this is what's out there. We would know this for quite some time. However, we don't think the public was ready. But now that you are, this is the way of life, and it's going to change everything that we think about: religion, currency, family, our own ideas about what it is to be a human, right? It's going to change absolutely every identity, right? To where we thought we were, to where we are now, and to even in the future. But change is scary, but also a good thing, right? So it's I could just see it coming around the corner on our newscast, on saying, hey, breaking news, we're not alone, and let's introduce you to Elf.
That's a good one. We'll introduce you to Elf. You know what's funny? Um, yeah, I think that our consciousness can handle it now. I think that you heard of the term, the whole shift in awareness, shift in consciousness. I think we're leveling up to the point where we are more awake. There are still the individuals who are still texting on their cars, in their cars, texting, playing Pokemon Go, not paying attention, you know what I mean? But for
Hmm.
the most part, I think as a collective, I think the majority of the population is getting, their consciousness is shifting to the point where they would be able to handle it. And they'd be like, oh, wow, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're tapping into a different thought process, right? Let it be spiritual, emotional, physical level. I think the majority of society is really upping their game to, accepting different realities or accepting different consciousness throughout their lives on anything we touch on, right? So, and I think this is something where everyone has looked up at one point of their life and saying, what is that? Or, we're not alone. Or you look at the sun, there was a super moon, right, a couple days ago, and it's incredible to see, the solar system like this. Then again, you have those people saying that doesn't exist, that it's all projection with computerized, holograms and et cetera, and who knows, right? But I mean, I hope it does exist. I hope it's we're not alone, that the solar system is huge and is vast, that there's other beings, living creatures out there that could teach us a lot more than where we are right now, living the way that we are, and understanding that there's a different way to life.
Now, what's your thoughts on the whole, like, different kind of uh, species, races of quote unquote extraterrestrials? Now you've heard of the Dracos, the reptilians, the I believe they're um, different ones, right? But
Yes.
what do you think about the ones that are known as the reptiles? Because remember seeing V, and remember we saw the V in the 80s, and I love that show, and I was like, oh yeah, this is an amazing show, and were they just giving you little drips of what is actually out there? Or was it sci-fi? I think they were telling us something, but they couldn't disclose it in the fashion of, okay, yeah, you know what, there are such thing as lizards.
Yeah.
That would just blow our minds. It would just like we wouldn't be able to handle it because think about it, like if that was like a legit thing and people have mentioned it, that there are different kind of races.
Yeah.
Imagine if they're like, oh hey, yeah, these reptiles are eating people. You know what I mean? They've been here longer than we have.
Yeah.
And you've heard of the rumors that there is allegedly an agreement that they would be doing tests on us
Yeah.
for technologies and all that. You know what I mean? So imagine that. Hey prelim. Hey JJ. So the thing is that imagine, like, I think in that regard, a lot of people will not be able to handle it. Think about it. Oh, lizards. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, well, first and foremost, we can't even live with ourselves on this home planet with our multitude of different types of religions and races and customs and all that, right? You still have a lot of that stuff going on with racism and inclusion and exclusion as well going on, right? So the question you're bringing forward is, do you think humanity, here on Earth can respect or include something that's totally different than actual humans? There's only one answer to that, and that is no, right? But I would hope that the greater of us would see beyond that. I mean, speaking with you and I think we're raised the same way. I know we don't see color, we don't see race, we just see that person. And I think that a lot of us will go through that, right? There'll be the hard point, the hurdles to get through that. But I mean, for us to think that we're the greatest, the smartest, the strongest, the fastest, that's crazy. We're not. Everyone else is going to be one step quicker and get there a lot faster. And I think anything else that's outside of this solar system or a planet would fall underneath that category, right? Um, yeah, I mean, I've heard all these different types of lizards or the grays or anything like that for decades, right? Even a familiar face that was running for president, they were saying that she is part of that one of that labels as well, right? But you know what? It's out there. All these things have been putting timbits for quite some time, right? And now the puzzle is coming together and it's making shape. I think it's a lot sooner than we think it is. Um, they're just ironing out the last couple of wrinkles, and I think 2023 is going to be a big year for us. That's my intake.
Now, I'm totally stoked by all this that's going on, right? Because you're seeing it, you're starting to see it, like in mainstream. Now, I'm eager to be like, oh hey, you know what? If they're like, here's a UFO, you guys want to travel to Mars, sign me up, get me out of this joint. I say, I'm like, get me out of this freaking planet. I'm the first one. Sign me up. I'll go to the moon. I'll go to Mars. I'll go to Venus. I don't. I just anywhere, but this Earth at this very moment in time. I'm
Hmm.
going to the moon. No freaking mask. I'm going to Mars. No bloody mask. You know what I mean? And if anybody tells me that I gotta wear a mask on Mars, I'm gonna give them the finger. All right, and you heard it here first. If any freaking, I don't think any gray or if I run into any kind of like, if I were to go to Mars, they'll be like, okay, yeah, you got to wear a mask. I'm like, yeah, sorry, but dude, I don't think so. But anyhow, I digress. That's my rant for the day. But anyhow, but did you see that the clip of the UFO, the pyramid one? It reminded
Yeah,
me of Stargate.
yeah,
Like the Goa'uld. And
Yep.
again, remember how they dropped those little, crumbs in TV shows, the X Files. The X Files was ahead of its time, and we're seeing all this stuff that's being, like you're seeing it now. The artificial intelligence, the UFOs, UAPs, you know, Element 115. It blows my mind. But I just like I'm so intrigued at what's coming. I think they're gonna be telling us soon.
Yeah, I mean, these symbols have been on TV and radio and comics. I mean, going back to the 1940s, right? Or maybe even earlier. So, and it's been on the mainstream ever since the evolution of TV in the 1970s and 60s, right? And in radio and so on. So yeah, I mean, we're noticing these symbols, right? Let it be hexagons or triangle shape, right? Scientifically, it's one of the most strongest shapes out there here, at least on this planet, right? And we've seen them in comics and in magazines. So, dude, it's a matter of time. It's happening. It's gonna happen a lot quicker than we think. It's gonna happen overnight when the majority of us are sleeping, and it's gonna be breaking news. We're gonna hear all our phones beep off the same time. You're gonna see people running out butt naked on the street, figuring out what's going on. And before we know it, it's gonna be mainstream. Look what's happening with this coronavirus, right? We woke up one day, and you hear one thing from overseas, and all of a sudden it spreads, and now we're all joking about, are you getting the vaccine? Because if you are, you're gonna get this chip, right? And everyone's talking about, oh yeah, I got chipped today, and you're laughing about it. So it's becoming third nature to us now, and this evolution of extraterrestrial or different beings, it's going to do the same thing, dude. And what I do hope is that it really evolves humanity to the next level, because we're spinning in circles right now, man. We're all treading water. We've been doing the same thing for the last 50 years. We need a shake up from this planet, because there's more than just where we live, and there's a lot more than just planet Earth.
I totally agree. I think, like you were saying, that this world needs a shakeup, but in the positive sense.
Yeah,
And I think our consciousness will evolve. I think to the point where we who knows the things that we will be able to do, right? Because you heard of remember the Mayans talking about 2012, about the consciousness, or the calendar that would end, and
hmm
they were saying that there was gonna be some kind of like shift in consciousness. I find that fascinating, right?
yeah, no, for sure. And maybe it already happened, that prophecy, right? Or maybe this is something that they thought was going to happen. But it all comes back to the unknown, and the unknown is always a part of our mind that brings fear, right? So, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, am I going to sit here and say that if we hear breaking news, and they confirm, that we're not alone, that I'm not going to be scared? That's BS. Of course it is. It's human nature to feel fear and be scared, right? But how are we going to use that energy? Are we going to turn into a negative and start tossing bombs out there, like, we're Tom Brady for a touchdown? Or are we gonna, turn into something positive, and see, what can we learn, right? And hopefully this brings us together.
Remember when Space Force was created? Everybody was laughing.
Hmm. Yep.
There's there like people were. I got into conversations with people, and they're like, they're like, what the hell is that? Do you not realize, okay, let me rewind. When I was analyzing that Space Force and why it was created, I kind of chuckled as well, but then I'm like realizing they're trying to tell you something. Something is on the horizon. that they, in my opinion, they're going to be announcing certain things, and you're seeing it like
Mhm.
mainstream news. So I think this quote unquote Space Force was put there for a reason, because they're going to tell you some stuff that we might not like. We're going to be fearful. Oh my God. Like, because I think there are, uh, just as there's good human beings, there's bad human beings.
Yeah.
So there's good, aliens or extraterrestrials, and bad extraterrestrials. So I think that is why they created that Space Force. And in who knew in the long run that that would be like usher in this, new phase of technology that we're going to be being, welcomed.
Hey, as long as we have Will Smith to bring him in, right? We're all good.
Oh yeah, the Area 51 that doesn't exist.
Yeah. A
Oh,
lot of things don't exist nowadays, but I'm sure
yeah,
I'm sure we'll
Jeff.
find out, man.
No, we need Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Oh well.
Righty. Well, so we're gonna go on to the next topic, and I don't know if you're into this, but have I'm sure you've heard of cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah. Am I still lost? Even though I probably read 100 articles and spoke with half a dozen friends who are already dabbling into this. Yes, I'm still a little bit confused,
Yeah.
but it's freaking interesting, man. And we're talking about extraterrestrials in space. This is a good segue because this is money that's out there in space, right?
Yeah, cyberspace. And it's funny because there's that that slogan, to the moon, right? And apparently there's this coin called Dogecoin, and a lot of YouTubers have mentioned that. They're like, oh, Dogecoin is going to the moon, right? So basically, how I ended up getting into this journey of cryptocurrency, I, the first lockdown, I was like, intrigued, right? Didn't
Hmm.
do anything with it. Then the second lockdown, I was so ticked off. I'm like, oh man, we gotta be in lockdown again. So I decided to learn. I decided to research. And once Elon Musk started talking about Dogecoin, I remember him saying something in a tweet about this potentially being the currency of the future. My ears perked up when he said that, or when he tweeted that, because if you're gonna listen to somebody, you're gonna listen to a billionaire, right? Because basically, how did this guy get his billions, right? He's
Yeah.
an innovator. He's able to make these decisions, good business sense, right? So, am I gonna listen to somebody who is poo-pooing on crypto? Because there are those individuals out there who, like, they don't understand it, but they're willing to learn. But then you have individuals who just poo-poo it, call it a scam, and it just, yeah, you know what I mean? So the thing is that, who am I going to listen to? Someone who's talking about it openly, who has $1 billion in their bank account, and they're they're giving you the little breadcrumbs of this is where the future is going, right? Or am I going to listen to somebody that's calling it a scam, poo-pooing it, and just saying, oh yeah, it's just a scam. You know what I mean? I think I'll listen to the individual who has $1 billion in his bank account, like Mark Cuban as well. Mark Cuban, again, Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, started accepting Dogecoin for purchases. So let me say that again for the individuals who are like poo-pooing it and calling it a scam. Mark Cuban, okay, is accepting Dogecoin for purchases, for tickets and merchandise. So what does that say? And remember how Mark Cuban made his money. He became a billionaire by selling his .com business. So he's able to see the next big thing, right? And what did he do? He's the first NBA team to accept Dogecoin. So how much you want to bet that all these other teams are going to accept Dogecoin within the near future? He's the first, right?
Yeah, no, I mean you're hitting the a part of the conversation where a lot of people are still apprehensive, right? And I think I got a foot in that box too, right? And I think is you're speaking about all these well-off individuals who have the means to really dabble in different ideas, let it be currency, real estate, expenditures, etc. So for the main street people like you and I, do we have that money disposable? And on top of that, we like to touch things. So if you could see that $5 bill and touch it and rip it, it means something, right? To not see it and to think about it as binary code of zeros and ones, does that make it any less than actually having it in your hands? I don't know. And that's the point that I'm fighting with, right? Because it's like I could see that $20 bill, but I can only see that $20 bill on my screen or on my phone. Does it have the same weight and purchasing power, right? Can I put that towards filling up my gas tank with $20, or can I only buy a digital photocopy of that $20 liter of gas kind of thing, right? However, you're seeing a lot of different companies, including one of the biggest fighting industries. So the UFC is now looking into it, right? So now you're getting advertisement in different multi-billion-dollar industries also going into it. So to your statement, could you possibly use this currency to purchase tickets, right? To now get into, a venue? Does that mean that you're able to buy a car or use it towards a down payment for a house or a condo, or whatever you want to, right? The answer is possible, right? And the future is going to, sorry, the past is going to tell us what the future is holding. So in the past, everyone was talking about, oh, you know what, housing, it's not a good thing to go into, and all of a sudden, look what's happening with housing, right? Oh, forget about putting your money in here, forget about putting your money in there, and all of a sudden, people see that their investments from 2008 are spinning around like 500% increase, right? So, and then you're talking about different specialists who specialize in this stuff. And I have a good friend that does, and he is, proclaiming this to the end. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. I still haven't. I don't know when I'm going to. I don't know if I will, but I'll leave it up to you to convince me, Juan.
Oh, it's funny. I told my sister about this, and you know how my sister's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
I set up the presentation with Enrique and her on Zoom. So
Yeah.
the thing is that I I was talking to them and they didn't understand it. And I get it because like my sister's not very computer, but she doesn't do the Facebook thing. She had to because of school, the online learning and all that. But if she had to, she wouldn't do any of that stuff. So I'm here trying to tell her about this and that, and I managed to convince her. I was surprised, right? So she's like, "Oh, here, you know what? We'll give you some money and you put it in." I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, sure. But she was very hesitant, but I convinced her, right? And there are several other people that I was telling about Dogecoin, right? Because I was like, oh, Dogecoin, right? Because again, when a billionaire like Musk was talking about it, I was like, hey, you know what? You got to listen, right? And who knows? Maybe he's giving you like the breadcrumbs to have a better life. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, sure, I'm gonna, I'll get in on this. and I ended up getting in on this at 3 cents. Okay, so
Yeah.
it right now it went to like it's right now it's at 31 US, but
Wow.
it went as high as 49 cents.
Wow.
So yeah, so I was like, I was looking at that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, damn. And I was stoked. And the thing is that some of the ripping rabbits.
Yep.
I was telling them about this because I was excited about this because I was like, oh wait, this is that opportunity. This could be the Bitcoin, right? Maybe, maybe not, right? But the
Yeah.
thing is that the reason why I decided to take that leap of faith was back like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I think it was. I was gonna invest in Ethereum when Ethereum was like almost a few cents, 2 cents,
Yep.
3 cents, and I did not. And I was kicking myself. I don't know why I did not invest. I just like whatever. Ethereum right now is $2,500.
Yeah.
So I'm kicking myself. So I said to myself, I'm not going to miss this opportunity again. So when I heard Elon Musk tweeting about it, he kept on talking about it. Oh, Doge, 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 the Doge. You know what I mean? I said, I'm not going to miss this opportunity because I kicked myself back then. And
Yep.
this has the potential of, like, if it's going to be the currency of the people's currency, I guess, then I want to be on board on that,
Well, maybe it's
right?
going to be space currency. Since we're going to get the news that we're not alone, maybe this is the only currency we're going to be able to use
Hey,
outside of our hemisphere.
well, that's the funny thing is that there have been whispers that that Elon Musk may put this coin to the moon. That's the whole shtick. Oh, we're going to the moon, right?
Yep.
So they may put that coin on one of those rockets. You know what I mean? Now, wouldn't that be something? Oh, okay, they put a Dogecoin to the moon. It was funny.
What also triggers my curiosity is when you start hearing about major credit card corporations, right? So the big one a couple of days ago that came out in the Globe and Mail was Mastercard, and they're saying that they're going to partner up with this company called Gemini to launch cryptocurrency rewards on their credit card. So you're going to get rewards of some sort of cryptocurrency um, value, right? That you could put towards other like-minded cryptocurrency items. So it's like, okay, you're talking about a heavy hitter, right? Mastercard. So who else is going to follow, right? So I don't know, dude. You're on something. I still gotta do my research with it. I'm not 100% sold on it because I'm one of those people who likes to touch things with my hands and see it with my eyes and taste it and get in on it and and whatever. But I mean, um, I've missed out on a couple of things that my friends have told me since March of last year. I spoke to you about one of them. So I may be missing the boat on this, the thought process, but I believe, I should say that something like this is going to be the future. And for those who are already sold for it, I would say get on it. And those like me, keep on reading, and maybe you won't miss the boat.
So we're gonna read some of the comments. Prelim says, I've listened to several shows about it, but it's still vague to me.
Mm,
Yeah, and I get it. It's like, because the thing is that I would have never seen myself remotely even getting into this, right? Like, if there was no lockdown or anything like that, I think I wouldn't be going into this. But when the first lockdown hit, I started, getting my curiosity peaked, right? And
yeah.
then when the second lockdown, like I mentioned, it's like I was so pissed off to I was like, oh man, we got to go through this again. So I was like, I got to learn something new, right? Like,
Yeah.
the 3D animation and this. And yeah, so it's just like, um, I was intrigued.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like there were so many celebrities as well were starting to talk about it, like even Paul Pierce,
Mm-hmm.
NBA analyst, and he played for the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. 2 weeks before that spike, I think it was 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks before that spike when it went on off the charts. He spoke about it and he tweeted. He said, I think I'm going to paraphrase what he was saying, but he basically said, "Buy Doge now. It's about to hit big."
Yeah.
So Paul Pierce was talking about it. I even sent him a tweet. I was like, "Hey, Paul, thanks for the advice." You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
because he's basically telling you that this is gonna hit big, and then boom, it took off. I was like, "Holy mackerel!" You're seeing more companies like Slim Jim make reference to Dogecoin, and that's good business for them, right? They're like, oh hey, it's attracting individuals who like Slim Jim, or even individuals who don't even know what Slim Jim is. They're like, oh hey, I'm gonna try that because they put the Shiba Inu dog Dogecoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you know and even NASCAR, there was a gentleman, I forget the driver's name, but they put the one of the sponsors was the Dogecoin on the car, and they interviewed him, and it was funny because people were being introduced for the first time to the Dogecoin, the logo.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing it being integrated, right? Slowly by slowly, you're seeing it. Um, you know, uh, I think like NBA, Dallas Mavericks being the first. I think you're gonna start seeing it in different kind of sporting events.
Here's a question for you. What country do you think will be the first to acknowledge us on their stock exchange as an actual reputable currency and value? Because right now it's not, right?
On the stock exchange, I don't
Yeah.
think it is, right? I just see it like in their own, exchange, the
Yeah.
crypto exchange. But I don't know. I have to look at that, right? But for the most part, I think like I guess the United States would be the leader in
Yeah.
that, you know.
So you don't think China will be the first one to be like, you know what, we're going to put this there, right
Where?
next to the China. So you don't think China will be the first one to put it right next to their yen and saying, we have the yen, but we also have this?
It's a possibility. I could
I
see
think
that.
so.
I
I
could
think
see it.
so. I think
I,
I think China is going to come guns blazing, as they say, and put it right there. There's of all the negative stuff that's coming out from that part of the world, um, they're really pushing the envelope when it comes to a lot of scientific and engineering things too, right? So I could see them being the frontier when it comes to this.
so prelim asks, did either of you transfer money with Bitcoin? Um,
No.
no, I don't. I haven't bought Bitcoin. It's because it's too priced. And the thing is that like even if you get like $100 worth, you still have a little fraction of it, of a full Bitcoin. So which is why I wasn't interested. Which is what intrigued me about Dogecoin, or they call it Dog E coin, but it's Dogecoin. Um, is that it was really really low. It was like, oh man, that's like penny stock, right? So
Hmm.
that's why I bought it at like 3 cents, right? So I was like, okay, I got in really early, and then I started, I bought the next installment, I guess was 7 cents,
Yeah.
and then 12 cents. So I'm still adding to it, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever I have, I'm still adding to it, even if it's like 30 cents right now, 35 cents. But yeah, but I have done transactions like, transfer money, from one location to another location. Because the thing is that there's certain exchanges that don't have Doge, which is why I had to go shopping around for one that did. So I have like four different exchanges that I have. I have Binance, Coinbase, Uphold. What's the other one? The other one is um, Pancake Swap, MetaMask. So I'm that's the thing. I'm still learning how to do it, right? You know, and they were even talking about this one called SafeMoon, right? And here's the thing: people were saying that SafeMoon could be the potential next big thing as well, like next to Dogecoin. So
Mm.
again, my ears perked up. You want to know how, like, what it's at right now?
Let me hear it.
SafeMoon is at 0.0000797 when I got it. So think about that, right? Look at all those zeros. So just for the hell of it, right? I just said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put like a hundo, right? 100 on it.
Okay.
So, but it was a
Okay, hold on
pain.
a second. Hold on.
Okay.
So this $100. This is
Yeah.
actual Canadian
Yes.
CAD
Yeah.
money of yours that you worked hard for.
Yes.
Purchase this 1/1000 of a percentage to purchase this cryptocurrency
Yeah. It's like a lottery ticket.
in
So,
hopes that it will return of
well,
value
yeah.
in the future.
Well, see, the thing is that I did the calculations, right?
Okay.
And that amount, and minus the fees, there are fees as well. So take a few bucks off of that 100. It became like maybe $80, maybe
Okay.
85 or whatever. So the thing is that that amount got me 1,600,000 and whatever shares
Mm-hmm.
of that SafeMoon coin because it's priced so low. So if that coin, because it's a new company, it's a new coin, that just was released like about a month ago, I believe. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but if that,
Okay, here it is.
yeah,
Here it is.
yeah,
Here it is. I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna put this out in the universe. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I'm doing it. I'm gonna say this live.
yeah,
So I've known you for quite some time. I got faith in you. I'm gonna do what your sister did. All right. I'm going to invest in your thought process. You tell me how to wire you $100. Okay. And you put $100 into this. Right.
yeah.
I'll be an outside investor, but I'll go through you, and we'll see where we are in 1 year from now. 1 year from April the 20. What is it today? April 29th. So next year, God willing, we're both here, and the UFOs haven't come down and taken us out yet, right? And we'll talk about this. How's that sound?
We'll talk about it off there.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off there.
All
But
right.
but yeah. So the thing is, if that goes to $10, that's $16 million and whatever numbers that were after that.
Yeah.
So the thing is that this is like a long-term thing. It was just like I said, it's like a lottery ticket. Like, okay, whatever, it's $100, whatever, you know. So if it hits, like, because it's a fairly new company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, a prelim asks, so you're experimenting with small amounts to see what happens. Yeah, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. Mark Cuban was asked in an interview, Dogecoin, what are your thoughts? And he said, better than a lottery ticket. That's what he stated. And when Mark Cuban said that, because at first it was Elon Musk talking about Dogecoin, but then when Mark Cuban said better than a lottery ticket, and here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but like ever since I was what, my teen years, or like even when I was a kid, I'd go play the lottery for my family, my mom, my dad, and we don't win. You know what I mean? Think about the amount of money that we've spent on lottery over 35 years. You're looking at
Dude.
right there at over $1 million, probably.
Okay.
Combined. You know.
You know what? I don't really drink. Probably not much to nothing. I don't smoke, so I don't know. Whatever. I'm kind of boring in those kind of ways. But I do play the lottery. I am one of those religious fanatics that plays it on particular days. So what is it? Every Wednesday and every Sunday, right? I play my five stuff every week. Okay, I don't get coffees and stuff like that, so that's my Achilles heel. I thought about this recently, and I'm thinking about this. You know what? I've had small wins, nothing big or nothing to even hum or holler about. But I'm like, what if I put 1 month of that money that I earned while working into perhaps something in the stock market? I'll give you a small example. A couple months ago, I was sitting with a friend. I was talking to him. I'm reading all these articles about commodities, especially copper, right? And this is a couple months ago. About copper is going to go up and the usage of copper for different reasons, especially for transmissible reasons of COVID-19, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What are we hearing lately, especially from Living this morning? Copper has gone up. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If I purchased copper back then at $4 and something cents, and I put that 1 month of lottery ticket, okay, which is about, I don't know, 330, let's just say $200, okay, in a month, I would have got some money rather than having nothing. So you know what? I like that comment you just made because it makes sense.
Well, here's the thing, right? What I started like in this lockdown, right? I stopped like having that urgency or that the jonesing for the lottery, like playing the lottery. Oh, I'm gonna buy a lotto 649 ticket. I been losing that, right? I'm like, okay, and I've been more focused. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna put $100 on Dogecoin today. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna put like I also have this one coin called Anchor, right? So right now it's 20 cents. So I got quite a bit in Anchor as well, right? So these ones that are like at low price, anything like penny, like quote unquote penny stocks, 2 cents, 3 cents, or under 20 is the ones that I get. I'm going for.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many out there, right? Um, Cents, penny cents, even a couple of dollars. Let it be, Bitcoin or crypto coin currency, or even just the mainstream, stock market. It's out there, dude. I missed a boat on one of them. I spoke to you about it. I think it was it's one of the sports cast here. I forget the name of it, but it was like at 15 cents or 50 cents, and then it went up to like $5, $6 within a couple weeks. And you're talking about a 500% increase. And I have some friends that cashed out, and their mortgage is paid for this year for the amount of money that they made. Right. So you know what? I didn't listen. I'm one of those people that's kind of still kind of skeptical, but the days that go by and the weeks that go by, I am turning the corner, and I think you know what? If I want to be smart with the money, the hard work, cash that I do, and the future where we're heading, I got to change the tune. Even though I love playing the lottery because I'm gonna hit it one day, I am,
Well,
but I got to do it.
Preliminal says I do a lottery ticket maybe once a month, called Super Cash. Yeah. Well, guess what? Again, you know how we're in the third lockdown, fourth lockdown? I forgot. But the thing is that from that interest in crypto, learning about crypto, and again, I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning something new every day. Apparently, you can mine for crypto. So there are these devices, like these I think they're called ASIC miners that specifically are built for mining crypto like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin. And I'm like, where in the hell have I been? So these machines are making people money. And I had to shake my head at that, right? Again, I had to shake my head at that. I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me these machines are making people money, just like they're there, running, blah blah blah. They're running on the electricity. I don't know,
Hmm.
and they're making money. So I was like, where? Sign me up. I'm like, where the hell? So I started learning about it. I'm like, okay. And the thing is that here's the thing, what puzzles me, a lot of people in the world don't even know about it, right? If they're
Oh,
like the technical, because again, this is crypto still fairly new,
yeah.
but a lot of people know about it and they're making bank. And
Okay,
a
here
lot
it
of
is.
people,
Here it is. South China Morning Post posted this morning, April 29th of this year. The Beijing Municipal Bureau of Economy and Information Technology wants to know the amount of power consumed by such mining operations when it comes down to cryptocurrency. You're talking about a superpower, man, that's looking into what you were just saying right now.
see,
It's
you know what I
crazy,
mean?
eh?
It
Yeah.
is, it is. So the thing is that I started reading up on, or like watching different tutorials on individuals who are mining for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that. So that's my next task. That's the next thing that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna start mining, right? But the thing is that I'm not gonna be mining Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that because the thing is those computers are super noisy and it'd be pain in the ass and they go through a lot of electricity. So there's this one that's called Helium token, the Helium HRT token, and get this thing is the size of a freaking modem, like your modem, like that you have, right? Size of a modem. It does not make any noise. You just plug it into the wall and it's silent, right? It doesn't make that much noise. And you can hook it up to your phone, the phone app, and it starts mining, right? It starts mining for you. So apparently, like the the Voscoin channel, I was watching his tutorials or his feedback on that the a miner dude from Toronto. Apparently, he's making like $100 a day mining
Wow.
helium tokens. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, I had to rewind that when I was watching it. I'm like, I'm in Toronto or Mississauga. You know what I mean? They're and you can see who in the area has helium, the miners, right? So I'm still learning about that, but there are people making money out there, passive income. So they're running this machine and it's spitting out helium tokens, which in turn you can change for currency like
Hmm.
USD.
Yeah.
Hey Jojo's.
The more we talk about it, man, the more it's piquing my interest. I'll tell you that much.
Well, here's the thing, right? I was like I'm trying to convince my sister, right, to for the because she doesn't know anything about mining, right? I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'll get a machine. You get a machine. You know what I mean? You'll be making some money. It's like I put it at your place, and this thing makes you. It's like think about it. It's like a piggy bank, but it's spitting out money, not you putting into the piggy bank. You know what I mean? So it's funny because my sister, like I said, she doesn't know anything about like the technical aspect of like really, to do all this. I think my niece would have to explain to her how to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think you just said something very important, right? The age demographic goes hand in hand with the evolution of what is next to come, right? So our sisters are a little bit older than us, right? We're younger, so we see it differently. However, the generation behind us also sees it much different, right? So they're easy have an easier time to adapt to actually rationale, what is coming, because they're in a different generation. So I think that's right. You're both our nieces will probably explain this a lot to us a lot better. Maybe I got to talk to mine.
So Prelim says, so with crypto, it's a matter of cashing in at the right time. Yes, I think so. Like I said, the antennas or the ears perked up when Elon Musk was talking about it, when Mark Cuban was talking about it, and again, I vowed never to miss that opportunity, like I did with Ethereum, because again, right now, I like you know, I was gonna put some money on it, and then and seeing it, the price kind of gives me a headache at times because it's 2,500 Canadian, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, think about it. If you bought like it at 0.02 and it's 2,500 right now, it's like, eek, eek, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that ship has sailed. But now the opportunity that's presented itself now is Dogecoin.
Things come in circles, dude. I think there's going to be a dip, and then if you have the funds to jump on it to do so. I mean, look what happened to the stock for Tesla last week, right, or the week before. They dropped, I think, 14%, right? And it's still high, but I mean, things like this always go up and down with different trends.
Prelim says, okay, Juanito, I will check it out. Yeah. So there are a few people that I brought onto the Doge train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And um, but yeah, it's very interesting though.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if all you think you're sold, but I'm getting more sold on this just by hearing them. So let's see what happens. Maybe next week I'll have I'll be an investor.
Think about it though, like, because when you start thinking about this, you're like, oh, you just start to visualize and dream. Oh, what if, what if? Because when you bought that lottery ticket, I'm sure you've been like, oh, wow, what if you think about buying this big ass mansion, So human nature, right? I was like, okay, so I started thinking about this in my mind as I was going to sleep, and I started dreaming. You know how the lucid dreaming takes place, right? So it was funny because in the dream, there was this dream where um I was asking this girl out and she didn't want anything to do with me, right? But then in the dream, I said to her, "Hey, you know what? I'll send you a limousine." And her curiosity peaked. Oh, what do you mean limousine? Right? So basically in the dream, I had made $1 billion in all this cryptocurrency in the
Yeah.
dream. I was laughing when I woke up from this dream. I was just like, I was laughing. It was a crazy dream. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get a dream about asking a girl out, remember, be confident. I think we talked about that
Yes.
before, right?
Yes, we did. That was the very first episode, right? That was the very first episode we did, right? But
Oh,
yeah.
it seems like it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, eh? Alrighty then. Well, thank you very much for checking, for uh, being part of the show, and I'm just gonna keep this within the 1 hour range. So, we'll talk off air about the other thing.
Sure.
You
Thanks
know
for
why?
having me.
Yeah, no problem. Because that's the thing. I want like everybody to be on that train with me, man. We'll be like choo choo. It's like it's like hey, we'll go to the club. You know what I mean? But anyhow, thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you for the comments, questions, and have a good one. Bye for now.